When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
All right, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Goblin YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Samwell Tarly in the Winds of Winter, and a little bit of Euron, a little bit of some Hightower stuff. I kind of left this one open-ended. You guys could just discuss anything going on in Oldtown. So I had a lot of different questions from you guys that you guys wanted me to answer. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. If you did want to be a part of these videos in the future, I would definitely recommend subscribing because I put community posts out for these videos. Just asking if you guys have questions, and also on my Instagram, I put out a post there as well. I'd actually prefer that, just based upon the fact that it's easier to find comments and things like that on Instagram stories than it is YouTube comments. But to each their own. The Instagram link will be in the description if you wanted to do that. But yeah, without further ado, I wanted to say a thank you to my Patreons and members for supporting me on this channel. And if you do want to become one, you do get videos early, and you do want to get an exclusive video each week. So consider that if you would like. And let's get into the video. So the first question I have from JT Maz is, do you think Sam will come into contact with the glass candle? I think so, right? There's a lot of mysterious stuff going on at Oldtown, and we haven't had much of a POV. We haven't had much information about the Hightowers in general in the normal story. A lot of the Hightower lore we've kind of heard from either Fire and Blood or just offhand comments and other types of chapters, and you kind of have to piece it all together. So I do think that Samwell will kind of be an interesting POV in the next book because he will be discovering a lot of the secrets, I would assume, of Oldtown and giving us more as to what is going on there. Taylor asks, do you think him and Euron will cross paths at all? Yes, I definitely think so. Well, given the fact that I believe Samwell has the Horn of Winter, this cracked horn that he and Jon find north of the wall, I think that is going to play a huge role into how the wall comes down, or at least part of it, to allow the others to come through. Because as of right now, there doesn't seem to be a clear way of them getting south of the wall. So I do think that it would be something like that. It will be that the Horn of Winter is blown and maybe part of the wall comes down, or maybe all of it comes down, and that's what allows the others to come south, and that'll then bring the conflict of the others. So I think Sam and Euron are meant to eventually find each other. And I do think there is going to be a battle for Oldtown. I don't know to what extent, right, if the Hightower is going to come down, which is another question. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that as well. But Taylor, to answer your question, yes, I definitely think that's in the cards. Given the fact that it seems like Euron Damphair is about to die, it would make sense that Sam would be kind of our next POV into what's going on with Euron's kind of invasion of the Reach. But Matthew Stewart asks, will the Hightower be destroyed? Will Krakens rise from the deep? I don't think the Hightower is going to be destroyed necessarily. I do think Krakens will be used to break the fleet that is going to be around Oldtown at this time. I think it's going to be a major naval victory in terms of like Krakens coming out of the sea, and that's then going to allow Euron to then start sieging and attacking Oldtown. That's what's really going to occur there, and I don't think it's going to be Krakens or like taking down the Hightower. I don't think that's going to be what is going to happen. But I think it's going to allow Euron to then start sacking Oldtown, or at least fighting, you know, the soldiers that are at Oldtown. That's what I think is going to occur. So in regards to your questions, I would say, yes, Krakens will be an aspect of Euron's kind of whole thing going on right now. But I don't think the actual Hightower is going to come down. And if it does, man, that's a tragedy to architecture. That's all I'll say. Better Call asks, do you think Sam escapes before Euron arrives in Oldtown, or do you think Sam could be in danger? Sam's definitely going to be in danger, right? If you think about even the way he gets into Oldtown, the guards are pretty much on edge, right? They know that there could be a potential battle coming. With Euron and his kind of stuff going on in the Reach at this time, it's made very clear that, yes, it seems like Sam's going to be in danger. He is told from Marwyn, don't bring up this stuff about magic. The Maesters don't like magic. They killed dragons the first time. And so it's going to be, I think, Sam having to get through all the Maester stuff, while also at the same time, there's an impending siege. Like, think about King's Landing in Book 2, right? Where you have that impending, dread that seems to be over all of the characters that are at King's Landing, or even the common folk, and the way that they're, kind of doing things, right? They're openly, starving and all these things. That's going to be very similar. And I think Samwell will have to run into Euron. I think that makes sense in terms of Sam possibly having the Horn of Winter, and Euron will be the one to, I think it makes a lot of sense to bring like an apocalypse type thing to Westeros. That would make a lot of sense to me. And also, it would also help the issue of Euron maybe not having a POV actually attack when he attacks Oldtown, because if Euron Damphair is basically killed in the upcoming like naval battle, then you're gonna need Sam to be that POV to kind of be showing what happens at Oldtown. So I do think it's quite likely that we will see Sam actually be caught up in the middle of everything with Euron. Now, the next part of that could be interesting, though, because I actually have a question on YouTube that actually asks about this exact idea. Nant, I hope I said that right, but you say, will he become Euron's maester? And that's an interesting point as well. Could Samwell just become some sort of like hostage for Euron? And it's an interesting concept because I don't think so, just because I think Samwell is more important to other characters going on at this time. So if he's with like Euron, for instance, and if you speculate that Euron isn't going to be defeated until Dream of Spring, that would mean Sam probably wouldn't even be that much involved with the other's plot, and he seems to be linked to that to find some sort of information to help Jon and the Wall. So I personally think that that's not going to happen. I think Samwell will be able to like get away from Euron, or something will, draw Euron away to where Samwell is not a prisoner of them. Maybe it could be something like this, Euron realizes what the horn's value is, and maybe he blows it, and maybe that kills him. It could be something like his dragon binder horn, or maybe it's just a fair trade. Euron goes, you delivered me this horn to bring apocalypse to Westeros, to cause chaos, for me to be able to, actually win the war and all this stuff, or maybe even trying to being viewed as like a god or a hero that's able to defeat the others, whatever. And you could have Samwell just be like, yeah, this you get your life because you did this type thing. But we'll have to see. Again, a lot of questions on what could possibly happen there with Sam and Euron's interactions. User UF asks, I would question in which way will Sam leave Oldtown, and whether he can steal a glass cannon or perhaps anything else for the Night's Watch. Yeah, you got to remember, Sam is in the place of information. There's so many different accounts that would probably have been written down and taken from years past. George has put Samwell in the best position to give us, the readers, more information that we just don't know in George's world. So if you think about like the Blackfire rebellions, that time period, there's something that could have been very significant that happened in one of those rebellions that we just don't know about yet, because George hasn't written Fire and Blood. And so George has not written Fire and Blood Part 2. And so Samwell is in the perfect position to be able to give us exposition that we don't know. So in a lot of ways, Samwell will be, yes, a person that's in danger, learning more about the Maesters and learning about the impending doom Euron is bringing, but he's also going to be in a place where he can learn a ton of things. For instance, the show brought it up that Rhaegar had his marriage with Elia annulled, right? That's something maybe, that's maybe something Samwell could find, or maybe Samwell finds some other information that is key to, the rest of the story. And so I do think it's possible that he could steal some stuff, books, glass candles, stuff that he deems to be very useful in the future. Adam Holland asks, could Sam end up curing John Connington's grayscale? Not sure if that bit from the show George R. R. Martin inspired or just D&D winging it. So yeah, they definitely took the plot point of like John Conn's grayscale and gave it to Jorah in the show. But the question will be, will John Connington actually get that fixed? I am not so sure on that idea, because I think the way that would have to occur is that young Griff, or maybe Arianne, finds out about John Connington's grayscale. Or maybe John Connington reveals it himself, and then he's sent away. Maybe he could start a whole plague or something like that. Maybe he even is the cause of why there is like a grayscale plague going on in King's Landing or Westeros that's been hinted at, and he's sent away. And he goes to Oldtown trying to fix it, because he wants to see, that this person he's raised as a son is going to be, saved or whatever. But the problem I have with this idea is that young Griff, I don't think, will take King's Landing until at least the middle to back end of Winds of Winter. So for John Connington to then travel to Oldtown and then also meet Sam and then also get fixed would take a while, and that's why I don't think it's going to happen, because I think Samwell, by the end of Winds of Winter, could very likely be out of Oldtown, going to Jon, because that information that he's gathered, whatever he's found from Oldtown, he's going to have to give that knowledge to other people, and it's going to take a long time to travel from one side of Westeros to the other, right? Let's say the others get to the neck by the time Samwell is able to get north. That would make sense, right? So that he comes back into the story maybe in the beginning of A Dream of Spring. So I don't know. It's hard to predict the timeline for Sam, and that's another thing George could be struggling on. Like, how much time does George want Sam to be at Oldtown? Because he is needed at other parts of the story later on. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Ryan Williams asks, will Sam be the one to possibly learn or uncover secret identities of other people in Oldtown right now? Yeah, there are a lot of people in Oldtown and even in the histories that he could discover right now. If you think about this character of Alaris, that seems to be not who they say they are. That could be something that could be revealed. There is also a Faceless Man here, so that could also be revealed, right? Because Pate died, but now there's another fake Pate going on in the story right now. So yeah, there's a ton of things that could be explored there for Sam to be able to find those things out, and I definitely think that's a high possibility. But yeah, I even think if you look at the show once again, like he could also find out things about like, oh, what is John's parentage, or maybe some actual physical evidence to back up claims that are maybe being said by people like Howland Reed, and maybe if Bran has visions. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, I think Sam will be a character where we will be able to find out new information. Bill Joe asks, is it at all possible he finds out about John's parents here, and if so, how? So I don't think, right? I think the way the show did it made a lot of sense. It doesn't come right out and tell you, oh yeah, John's parents are Rhaegar and Lyanna, but it gives you some documentation to question things like, why did Rhaegar and Elia, like, why was their marriage annulled by Rhaegar, right? Like, what happened there? And so that could be something he could find out, right? Or maybe he could find out some of the information of the Tower of Joy, and some of those things, because there might be stories that leaked into Oldtown, who knows, and people just looked over it like, oh yeah, we know what happened already there. Like, yeah, there's definitely a chance that Sam could find more information on that. Maybe if it is Ashara and Ned, maybe he finds some sort of documentation as well that's like kind of weird. Like maybe some maester documents this woman with like purple eyes, came up to the north during Robert's rebellion with Ned, right? That could be something that a maester could have recorded, but not really thought into it. And then Samuel going back through it, he could go, oh, wait, Ned going back with a woman with purple eyes. Like, there's so many limitless possibilities for what George could do with Sam, and what information he allows Sam and us, the readers, to know. So, yeah. Bill Joe, it says, any chance we get lucky and he dies early? I don't think Sam is going to die in this series. I think Sam is one of the characters that survives, so I don't think so. When will he leave Oldtown? I kind of already answered this one already as well, but I think it makes sense he either leaves at the very end of Winds of Winter, or he leaves kind of around the beginning of Dream of Spring. Is Leighton Hightower actually dead? So this is an interesting question by Mystery Junkie, because it's a question we don't know. Like, Leighton Hightower hasn't really been seen in a long time. Was he getting visions in the High Tower? Was he performing some sort of magic? Is he even dead, and like his children or other people have been ruling in his stead? We don't really know. It's one of the biggest mysteries of A Song of Ice and Fire, what is going on with Leighton Hightower. And George, in my opinion, hasn't given us enough information to really have an accurate, like, actual guess of what actually happened. But there is a chance that he could actually be dead. Who knows? But that is all the questions I had. Thank you for everybody that submitted ones. I really enjoyed some of the questions we had today. It sparked some interesting conversation that I haven't really thought about with Sam's plotline. And that's always my favorite part of these videos, is hearing ideas that maybe I don't even think about. Maybe makes me rethink how I view the story. Especially, like, I really like the conversation on, like, Cersei, like, where's she going to go and all that stuff, because I was very set in my way of where I thought that plot was going, but now I've kind of reevaluated. I'm like, huh, maybe there's another thing that could happen. But let me know what you guys think about Samwell, Oldtown, Euron, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.